Hey everybody, welcome back for the second episode of Behind the Scenes of Best Ranger. I really appreciate you guys coming back. We've had a lot of stuff going on these last couple of weeks, and unfortunately with the government shutdown, we've not been able to release some of the content that we've wanted to, just in respect for the units that asked us to keep it until the shutdown was over. With that being said, this last week I had the unique opportunity of going to West Point, New York and getting to spend some time with the officers and cadets that were training up for Best Ranger this year. It was a unique opportunity to see the officers in their environment training and teaching op order and grading op orders. And let's take a look at the interview we had last week with Major Tillery out at West Point, a former competitor, friend of mine, and he's coaching the West Point team this year. Welcome back, everybody, with the Behind the Scenes Best Ranger podcast. For this episode, with me I have Major Tillery of West Point. He is a former competitor and also this year's coach for West Point. We flew up here to West Point so that we could see a little bit of the behind the scenes of what it takes for these instructors and what it takes for these cadets to be able to compete and train up in an environment, like West Point, which isn't like most units where you have a military base. You don't have all the ranges and all the facilities that they do, and you're kind of excluded. So with that being said, thank you for coming to join us. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to, one, compete in Best Ranger, and what made you want to coach Best Ranger?
Yeah. So obviously, me and Trenton go back, 20 plus years as privates in the 82nd Airborne Division. A little bit about myself. I grew up an infantryman in the 82nd, rose to the ranks of Sergeant First Class, decided to switch over to become an officer in about 2014. Held various positions in the 82nd and 3rd Group, and then, decided my wife and I wanted to come here and kind of give back to, an Army that has given me a lot. So we decided to come here, and we've been here ever since 2022, I believe. So yeah. It's good. And with Best Ranger, I competed in 2023. One of the reasons why I wanted to go into a coaching role is because of the things that we dealt with in 2023. And so, having a coach is a huge part of that.
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time. You see Regiment has a coach that's been coaching for a decade.
Yeah.
Usually ARTB has someone that's competed and they help coach. Or I think one year they even pulled Rolfies back from 507, who's won it and competed a bunch of times to coach. But with that, having a coach, being able to kind of guide the training, very beneficial. I do want to back up real quick though, because you mentioned you and your wife moved here. What you didn't mention was your entire family is Ranger qualified, minus the new baby, right?
Yeah, minus the new baby.
So your wife, she went to Ranger school.
Yep, she graduated last year. She's always wanted to go to Ranger school, and one of the things that had kind of held her back is like jobs. Like she wants to. She's had opportunity, but you know how she is. She wants to, do the best. She wants to possibly be the entire time. So this opportunity came up. She was like, "Yo, I want to go to Ranger school." I was like, "Well, you're not getting any younger, so you might want to tie up those boots and go." So she went last year, 62 and through, graduated, and now now I have to deal with another Ranger qualified person being in the house. No, but it's all good. And we would never do Best Ranger together because we would probably get a divorce if that happened. But I was super proud of her for getting a goal done that has been on her mind for a very, very long time. And doing it at a high level. I mean, she did it as a major, being one of the oldest people, one of the most high-ranking people there, because she did it as a major. It was great to sit back and kind of watch. And everybody's like, "Oh, did you help her out?" I'm like, "No, I just let her do her thing. She knows exactly what she wanted to do. She knew what she needed to train up on, and she did that. So,
well, I mean, at the end of the day, leaders are going to step up,
Yep.
right? And leaders are going to do what they have to do to set the example.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And so that's awesome. And it's awesome to watch like a whole family do it too.
Yeah.
And I've known you since you were private. And we were competing all the time. But with that being said, so moving forward to like competing in 2023, you've seen, there's all that talk about, 2 lieutenants winning a lot, and this year doing enlisted and officer, teams, or if it does get passed for that, and it's got to be 2 officer teams, you got to have an enlisted team too. As someone that's competed, but who's also rose the ranks of, to East Sergeant First Class, and then now has rose through the ranks of Major, what are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, like I mentioned in the last podcast, like I'm a competitor. You know that, because when we were privates, we were just competing all the time. Like everything was a competition. Who can get to sleep the fastest? As roommates. Whatever it could be. What's your thoughts on that whole thing?
I see what they're trying to do, but I'm like you. Put your best team out there. It doesn't matter what the rank is. If we had a cadet tryout, cadet made the team. That person should be able to compete because regardless of rank. I grew up and watched a lot of non-commissioned officers dominate this competition, like from the Chad Stackpoles, the Sims, even Master Sergeant King. I don't know if you remember him going every year and seeing them compete and do well. Those are the people that I've kind of like looked up to through my whole career and watched do well in the best Ranger competition. And it was for a long time NCO heavy. And then, in the late 2000s, that's when you started to see a lot of junior officers and mid-tier officers start to just really dominate the competition. Again, I don't think it should be, enlisted versus, officer. I think it should be the best team. And unfortunately for us, we have to watch Ranger Regiment dominate the competition for the last 5 years that they've done this. And it's actually very impressive because they've had the target on their backs for that many years. Everybody wants to knock them off, and every single year they show up and they put the best people out there. So I don't think it should be split officer to enlisted. It's if E2 or a private Tillery, was the best person for the team and made it, and put Private Tillery with Lieutenant Colonel Smith.
Well, no, I think it also just sets the tone for like, the enlisted world right now, right? The enlisted world, if you're tired of lieutenants winning, then you need to compete, right? Like, I mean, if I was, still in and I was upset, like, then compete. Like, get out there and knock those lieutenants, knock those captains off the winner's board.
There's, how it is. When we were privates and we were growing up, there is no way in hell I'm going to let an officer beat me at anything. I wasn't trying to, like, in fact, I think it was in our platoon, we wanted to crush our lieutenant that was there. You know what I mean?
Lieutenant Miller.
Yeah, Miller. Oh my God, poor guy, right?
Yeah.
So we're wanting to do and be with. So like, it takes some ownership on that enlisted, on the enlisted community to put their best people out there and to want to knock them out. I do think. I mean, obviously, I think West Point's going to do well this year, but we saw 2 years ago, Specialist win it. They're capable of doing that.
For all you guys that are out there that need new Ranger gear, I'm going to drop a link down below so that you guys can get access to our Ranger grad store. So here's your chance to renew some of your favorite Ranger shirts, Ranger hoodies, shot glasses, all those fun things. Check the link below. And moving back to the train up too, like you just mentioned the train up and the tryouts. Like we just got done, y'all did the 5 mile run, 5 mile ruck, followed by another 5 mile run into a strongman competition, right? it was obviously officer heavy because we're here at West Point, and you did have a cadet. With that being said, like, with the officer world here at West Point, what do you see coming out with an officer and a cadet, or do you see a cadet being competitive?
I do.
Yeah.
So we do the Sandhurst competition every year here, and we have black and gold. That's the best teams, and those are cadet heavy. To say, hey, we take our best people, put them all on one team to compete against it, and those cadets are very, very fast.
Yeah.
We have, Cadet McCann who tried out today and made the team, who is a very physically fit person. I think that training up here, we have a plethora of great officers and great NCOs and people that can do well with the competition. I think the issues that we've had in the past, I think the last team to finish was maybe Lieutenant Colonel Farina and his partner, or maybe Major Bear and his partner, to finish from here. I think our issue is, one, we're still teaching. The cadets are still going to school in class, so that we have a very small window of when we can actually train. And then on top of that, you have not having access to some of the ranges and things that we need. Fortunately enough, we do have, the indoor range that we can use and shoot, but at the end of the day, we still have our jobs to do. I can't take these like 4 or 5 guys and say, hey, like, you're now detached from
whatever unit you're in,
that you're doing.
You're
right?
training for best rank.
Yeah.
You're going out there to win.
I can't take a cadet and say, hey, you're gonna miss some class because the dean would kill me.
Yeah.
The comm would kill me.
Yeah.
And so, like, those are the things that we're battling, and we work around it. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to do as a coach now, and part of the reason why I volunteered to do it is because, in 2023, Eric and I did not have a coach, and we were on 2 separate schedules. So we were having the same training plan, but we would do it separately, and we needed that cohesion. You know what I mean?
Well, and what was it like, right? So you're a competitor, and you and your partner were on separate training schedules. You were both physically fit. I mean, you're both in great shape, but coming to Best Ranger and now trying to mesh that team. What was it like watching the other teams that you could see have been training as a team, right? So like,
Right.
a lot of these units will go in, it may not be their 2 fastest people, but it'll be their fastest guy and this guy's smart and they work well together as a team. And then this other team, has the other fastest guy, and then, all the gamemanship that goes into creating those teams. What was that like, seeing that from your perspective as a captain at the time coming from West Point, that you didn't get the chance to really have the gamemanship, right? You just had, all right, I want to compete. This other guy wants to compete. We're going to compete together, and you try to plan those schedules the best you could. But at the end of the day, you're not training as a team as much as a lot of these other units are.
Right. No, Eric was a great partner. He was a stud, faster than I was. And I think,
Well, you're also old as crap.
I was the oldest competitor there, but age is is just a number. So,
Yeah.
but he was a great partner.
Yeah.
I think I wish we would have had some more time to work together. That was huge.
Yeah.
Like, I think we went to 10th Mountain to do some training, and then we did a couple runs around here, but the majority of it was split operations. And that, unfortunately, that's the life that we were for the hand we were dealt, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I'm gonna try to get around this year and say, and I told, you heard me, I said, hey, like, try to get on the same teaching schedule. The cadet, we're gonna have to work with the cadet. He's gonna have to, we're gonna have to figure out our schedules around his, really. And so one of the things that I wish we would have done is get on the same schedule, and try to have more workouts together. It's hard here because with Eric, he was on the dean side.
Yeah.
I'm on the comm side. So Eric probably taught every single day. I teach only on day ones, which is Monday through and Wednesday and sometimes on Friday.
Yeah.
So if you're teaching every day and I'm teaching, twice a week, then our schedules are going to be off.
Yeah.
So
not meshed very well.
So it's hard. It's very, very hard. But I do think West Point has the caliber of leaders and competitors and athletes that could do very well. I mean, you saw it today.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like that cadet was impressive, but I also saw, a couple majors who were obviously not young.
Yeah.
That were just killing it.
Yeah.
And so I think there is that chance, and hopefully you guys can get some sort of schedule figured out, so that you guys can train together, and you can coach them. And I have faith you will. But if you were able to, if you could call it now, we're November right now. If you were able to get these teams to train together and get them prepared, like what would you consider a win for West Point? Like not necessarily knocking Regiment off, If you do, that's cool. But like, what would be, something moving forward to set West Point up to continue to compete, and with a actual training plan, like an actual, footprint that they can follow.
I mean, obviously the goal is to knock Regiment off.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not going to the competition to win it, then what are you there for?
Right.
You know what I mean? It isn't a participation trophy. We want to win. However, I will say having teams that West Point sends down there finish the competition would be a huge feat for us. Like, because we haven't had teams finish in the last couple competitions, and trying to get back on track, and now having a foundation set to where we can move forward and say, hey, like now, what we need to do to be competitive. We need a coach. We need proper dieting. We need to be on the same schedule. We need to do this and that. And we're building relationships with this unit and that unit, and we can do these things. And I think that would set us up for success in the future. And I'm about to retire, so hopefully a competitor that competes this year would then take the reins to be the coach next year or compete again, but follow that same, foundation that we already have in place that will help us be more successful in the future.
Now, you retire next year. You've competed before. You're coaching this year. As we've seen in the past, Whitney, he coached the ARTB team and competed this last go round. Any chance we see an ancient old man come out and compete one last time?
I don't know. Not with what I saw today. Them boys are good.
Yeah.
No, I kind of promised my wife that I wouldn't.
Yeah. It's that new baby effect.
New baby effect. I don't know if baby Rory would like for me to be away as much as I would need to be.
Yeah.
But I would say never say never.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time. So you guys heard it here. West Point, they've got a couple teams. They're wanting to compete. They're wanting to get out there and get in the dog fight, get dirty with the rest of the enlisted. Do you see the officers winning it again, or do you think the enlisted are going to step up?
No, the officers are taking it.
Officers are taking it?
Only because I'm fielding all officer teams, and we're going to do really well.
All right.
And let Regiment know that we're coming.
Yeah. You heard it here first. All right, guys. West Point's coming for them. I guess we'll watch and see. Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Thanks.